Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly vlog. Okay, so it is March and I am participating in Realm-a-Thon. So Realm-a-Thon is a readathon that is hosted by CoversWithCassidy, and I'll actually link the information down in the box below in case you want to follow along. By the time you're seeing this, it's probably going to be like a week or two in, but just in case, it's never too late to join. So Realm-a-Thon is basically it's a competitive readathon, and there's 4 teams, and those 4 teams, kind of like 4 houses almost, compete to see how many pages, certain prompts, give you points, all that kind of stuff, see how many points you can get, basically. The team with the most points wins. So I am actually on Team Monarchs. I even have my cool little bookmark. So, and Cassidy makes these little bookmarks and she sells them every Realm-a-Thon so that you can rep your team. So I'm on Team Monarchs, and the overall focus, the overall prompt, I guess you could say, for this season of Realm-a-Thon is to read a book with an urban setting. Okay, so we are in the city of Carrion, urban setting, that sort of a thing. But it just so happens that the team that I'm on, the Monarchs, our major prompts, our major goals, our extra points, are politics and fantastical worlds. So a world that's not ours, set in a different world, and politics. So for me, that just screams political fantasy all over it, and that is 110% my jam. So we're gonna be reading a bunch of political fantasies during this vlog. To start off our list of political fantasies that I will be reading, I actually already started it. I started it last night. These Infinite Threads. So this is a sequel. It's by Tahereh Mafi. She's the same author as Shatter Me, but this is more of a Middle Eastern inspired fantasy. There's jinn, stuff like that. And this is actually the sequel to This Woven Kingdom. And I read This Woven Kingdom when it first came out. Then I reread it last year, 2024, because I was planning on continuing the series, and then I never did. I started this, I never finished it. So I'm picking it back up again, because again, I'm trying to finish all those books that I started and never finished, and all my sequel series, so this is perfect. It covers so many boxes. So I'm reading these Infinite Threads, so it is a sequel. So in the first book, This Woven Kingdom, it basically follows a young woman who is a servant. Really, she's a jinn. She's the lost princess of a kingdom. She's genie's kind of a situation is the general understanding of it, but in this world they're not so much genie. They're just stronger, more powerful. They don't eat, they don't drink, they just drink water. That's their nourishment. They don't really ever sleep, and when they bleed, it's clear like water. So it's really interesting. But in this world, it's politically divided into kingdoms, and then within the kingdoms, jinn have kind of been segregated or oppressed. Their kingdom fell thanks to the devil, basically. And since then, they've just kind of been mixed in with the people, but they're considered the lower class of people, even though they are super powerful, super strong, but people just kind of stay away from them. So the main character that we follow, she's a jinn, and she's been hiding who she is because she's this lost princess. And she's been working as a servant, and she's a seamstress. There is a character, Hazan, who is basically, he knows who she is, and he's trying to help her, keep her safe, because the king of the kingdom that she's in has been hunting her down for years, trying to kill her, because he got a prophecy that she would be the end of him, the death of him. So he's been hunting her. He is the reason that she's on the run, hiding as a servant, and that her family is dead, because he sent people after her, her family died, and she's been on the run, hiding ever since. As she's just living her life as a servant, which is miserable, but still just living her life, she happens to stumble upon the prince of the kingdom, and he falls in love and becomes obsessed with her. It's great. I love Tahereh Mafi because she always has that sad boy character that falls so hard in love with the main female character, and it's her thing, and I'm all for it. I am all for it. So the main male character in this, well, the sequel has an additional character that shows up. So This seems to be like it might progress a little love triangle-y, because the first book was very much Cameron, who reminds me of Aaron Warner, but that's besides the point. The first book is very much like the relationship building between Cameron and Alize, which is the main female character. This book, a wrench is kind of thrown in. A lot of wrenches are thrown in, actually. And Alize is kidnapped and taken away to another kingdom by someone named Cyrus. And I feel like there might be it might progress into a bit of a love triangle, which Tahereh Mafi is also infamous for. So, I mean, I'm not mad about it, to be honest with you. I'm super excited. So I'm actually pretty far in. I'm on page like 241, I think. Yeah, 241. So there's probably, I just noticed that there's like ink on my sprayed edge. Anyways, I'm probably gonna finish this before the night is over. I do have some more filming and stuff to do. I might edit a little bit too, but probably not. I'm probably just gonna hop in my bed and finish this book. So I will let you know how it goes. But this is the first book that I'm starting for this process of Realm-a-Thon, and I'm super excited about it. So I will update you when I read some more. So far it's good, but it seems more setup of the kingdoms outside of the one that we were in for the first book. It's just kind of setting up the other kingdoms. And I feel like they're gonna go on like an adventure. I feel like they're gonna go on like a Lord of the Rings style adventure, to be honest with you, because of the way they're setting it up. The ragtag team is assembling in this one, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna read the third one or if I'm gonna wait. I guess it depends on how this ends, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna read the third one or wait a couple months to kind of space them out before the fourth one comes out. I haven't decided, but I did want to show you. So these are the Illumicrate editions, and they came signed, but like, you know, when an author like signs a book versus like when they're just like signing like a 30,000 copies or whatever. So you can actually see like, so this one came signed, but then I actually met her in person, so she personalized it, and then that's like her like signature. So it's super cool. But yeah, that is where I'm at with this, and yes, I will keep you updated. Okay, so a quick update. Dogs are barking. There's so many dogs in this neighborhood. I have 2 dogs. My neighbors have like 2 or 3 dogs. On the other side, there's another dog. Behind us, there's 2 dogs. And then like catty corner, there's more dogs. So there's a lot of dogs, and they just seem to be barking. So if you hear any noise, I do apologize. They're just kind of, I don't know, communicating to each other or something. But I did finish these Infinite Threads, and I loved it, of course. I love everything Tahereh Mafi writes, I'll be honest with you. So this book was definitely heading in the direction that I thought it was going to. Kind of like this was definitely the setup book, right? So the first book introduces us to the world. It kind of creates the environment, sets the atmosphere, introduces us to the characters, what the conflict is going to be, all of that kind of stuff. This is going to be your setup book. So things have happened, chaos ensues, craziness, you know, happens during the first book. This book is kind of the setup for the rest of the series. It's like getting all the pieces in line, all of the information, developing the relationships, just setting everything up. So while it wasn't like the most enlightening or, you know, surprising book, it was necessary and it was enjoyable. So it was written well. The story still has progression of characters, character growth, progression of the plot, you know, building of the team kind of a thing. So it was still very good, even though it was like that second setup book, right? Because sometimes the second book is just the setup. This is one of those cases, but now I know that there's actually 4 books in the series. It makes more sense. If it was just a trilogy, usually the second book is like my favorite because it's got the most in it. It's not just a general setup book, but this is actually a 4-book series, so it kind of makes sense why this is just basically set up and like some more character development. But I still gave it a high rating. I gave it 5 stars. I love it. Again, I love everything that she writes. And it's a political fantasy, so it counted towards my Realm-a-Thon. Super excited about that. I don't know how many points I got exactly. I don't ever keep track of that because the Google Doc that Cassidy set up, it keeps track of it for you, so I don't ever calculate. But I mean, I probably should at some point. I don't know. But I got this one knocked off the list. And then the next book I plan on reading, because I didn't realize how close the live show for it is actually Valor by Gwynne. So this is the second book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. Is that what it's called? I think it's The Faithful and the Fallen. Yeah, The Faithful and the Fallen series. So this is the second book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. It is an epic fantasy, follows a large cast of characters with multiple point of views. Basically, there is one character who is the champion for the light, and then one character who is the champions for the dark. Think kind of like angels and demons and hell and heaven sort of a situation, but they're not directly called that. I mean, the angels are called that, but everything else is kind of just referenced to that. There's giants, and we're following two main characters, really, the two that you basically know without giving too much away. You know that like one character is definitely going to be the bad guy and one is going to be the good guy. So we've got Corbin and then we have Tahereh, and it's pretty obvious just by reading the first book which one is the good guy and which one is the one who's gonna go to the dark side, just by their behaviors. Like the character in Tahereh, like he believes, he's been told that he's the champion for good, right? But you just look at his actions and geez, like, you know, he's not the good guy. Like, he is doing some shady, terrible things that they're like, a good guy would never do that. So I've kind of figured out which side is which, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm going to read this and I'm actually going to annotate it. So it's going to take me a little bit longer than it should. And the live show is in a very short window, like less than a week. I have to read this because I didn't realize that the live show was so soon. It's on the 9th. I thought it was like on the 15th or something, so I've been pushing it off. I had 2 months to read this book, like 2 months, and I've just been procrastinating. So this is going to be my goal, is to get through this next, and it's a thick one, so it should give me a lot of points for Realm-a-Thon, and it's a political fantasy, so you already know. It's like 630 pages, 647, just about 650 pages. So this is gonna be my next adventure, and I will keep you updated on how it goes. So wish me luck. I'm gonna go get my annotation tools, my tabs that are gonna match this. The other one I picked, like, it was like reddish kind of color scheme, so I went with like red and pinks and browns and stuff like that. I'm gonna go with like greens and yellows and everything for this one, just kind of match it up. So I'm gonna go grab those. I'm gonna start in, and hopefully I will be able to finish it before the live show. I don't know if I will, but that is going to be my goal. I'm going to persevere and get through Valor. So I'll keep you updated on how it's going. Okay. Okay, so it's late and I'm not done reading, but I wanted to update you. That way I can just like put my camera away and just kind of read until I fall asleep. But I'm doing this like with my hand and not a tripod. So I am on page 97 of Valor. So that's like 650 pages. So I'm like less than a sixth through, but that's okay. I'm probably gonna get, I would say, at least 150 pages before I stop for the night. That would be ideal, is at least 150 pages, maybe longer. Hopefully I can read longer, but I do have a very short window to finish this because the live show is very soon. So I need to buckle down and kind of read as much as possible. And by the live show being soon, I mean in like 2 days. So I have tonight, all of tomorrow, and then like a few hours on Sunday to read before the live show for this. So I need to get cracking is really what I'm saying. And so far it is really good. Hold on, I have like a fuzzy a cat hair like stuck in my book. It's bothering me. God damn, Kit, come, get it out, get out, get out. I'm gonna find the page that's on and get it out. It's bothering me. Okay, so it's really good. The last book was really good, and the world building and stuff that would have been like really slow was definitely in the beginning of the first book. This book, you already know the characters, the world has already been built, the setup's already there, so now you're just running through the plot, and it is exciting. There's not a lot of action, but it's exciting there's progression in the plot. There's a lot of movement around the world. We're seeing perspectives. We lost some perspectives from the last book because people died. So we have a few new perspectives in here, but it's not as confusing as the first book was for me. The first book was rough. It was absolutely rough to get through initially because there were so many perspectives and I wasn't sure who was what or what they were doing. But now in this book, I'm familiar with who all the people are. There's a couple that I'm like, I don't know who that person is, and then I'll wonder, did I forget them from the last book? And then there's actually like a guide in the beginning of the book that tells you like who these people are. So a lot of them I'm finding out they were new. Like that's why I didn't remember them, so that's okay. But otherwise it's going pretty well. I just need to buckle down and read it. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, to be honest, and it's because I left myself with such a small window of time to read this book. I have like 36 hours to read this book, maybe less. Yeah, no, I have about 36 hours to finish this book. So, and it's 650 pages. So I just need to kind of like buckle down and do it. So this is going to be the last update I'm going to give you for today as far as this is concerned. I'll probably update tomorrow. Hopefully my update tomorrow is that I finished it, and then we can just be, free. We can feel less anxious because this is rough. But anyways, so I'll check back in with you guys tomorrow and I'll let you know how far I've gotten. But again, it's really good. I really enjoy the series. My husband read the whole thing. He finished it. He binge reads. So he read the first one, Malice, with me for the first Catch Up Book Club meeting, and I stopped to keep up with the rest of with the reading schedule. He did not. He just binged all of them. So now I'm catching up, and at least I have somebody who kind of knows what's going on to give me some peace of mind. I can start asking questions like, well, what does this happen? Did that happen? Are they okay? He's great with that. He tries to lie to me, but I'm like, you're not good at this. So, but all right, well, I will see you guys tomorrow, and yeah. All right, so update time. It is Valor. I am pretty far through. I have about 160 pages left, so I'm on page 488. So I don't have much left, but I also don't have much time because the live show is in like 4 hours. So I have to read this 160 pages in the next 4 hours while I'm annotating, which takes even longer. That's kind of what drags the situation. But I mean, I've been doing pretty good. It's been like 2 days and I've read 490 pages almost of this book. So I'm proud of me for that. As far as the story goes, I'm enjoying it a lot more than the first one. I think my enjoyment is increasing because one, I know who all of the different points of view are, so I'm not like getting stuck. Another thing is there's also this lovely little guide in the beginning of the book that like tells you who all the people are. So if I do like come across a name and I'm like, who is that? Do I not remember them? Whatever, it's in there and I can look it up. So that's really convenient. I enjoy that a lot. And then the plot is just expanding. Our characters are growing. Our main character, Corbin, we're finally starting to see more from him. So in the first book, he's a child. He's like 14 or something like that. And in this book, he's 16, almost 17. So we're seeing his character growth. We're seeing him grow grow in strength. But most importantly, we're seeing him build like what makes him important. So the story basically follows the path of all these characters in the God War. So you've got the good side and the dark side. And in the first book, you saw like the character who's for the avatar for the dark side, you saw him really building everything up. And in this book, you're starting to see the character for the good side building everything up, but it's being built in a very different way, right? So the character for the evil side, the Black Star, or I'm sorry, the Black Sun, So the Black Sun is building his side politically through lies, through manipulation, by killing people, taking over kingdoms, that sort of a thing. While the Bright Star, the guy for the good side, he's building his team through relationships and kindness and friendship and that sort of thing. So you're seeing the dynamic of these characters really play out in this book. And you see Corbin, you know, understand who he is. You don't see much change in Tahereh. He's basically still like the same dude he's been. It's just continuing. You're not seeing much change, but luckily there are other characters in this book who are starting to see more change, because there are some characters in this book who believe that the bad guy is actually the good guy. So they're rooting for him because they think he's the good guy, but he does evil things. Like, he does things that the good guy never would. And they have a saying that keeps going around, you know, for the greater good. But it's like, evil should never be done for the greater good. And you can tell that he's evil because he's doing evil for the greater good. So there are some characters in here who I have been mad at for most of the series so far, because it's like, how are you so oblivious to this? Like, how do you not see that someone who is the champion for good would never do these types of things? So I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited for the end of this book. I paused last night. It was like 12:30, and I paused when things started getting like really epic. Like, I knew that if I kept reading, I would not want to put the book down, and I didn't want to stay up until like 3, 4 in the morning reading this book. So I knew I'd be dead. So I went to sleep and I picked it up. I have about, I would say like 2.5, 3 hours worth of reading. So I need to get that done because the live show is in 3 hours and 45 minutes. So that's where I'm at. So this is my update. I'll let you know when I finish it and do the live show. Not do the live show, join the live show. I'm not hosting this live show. Like, I'm not cool enough as a YouTuber to be a part of any of this. These are like, the people who are hosting it are like major channels, you know what I mean? They've got like thousands of subscribers. I love you guys for being my subscribers, but they have a lot more than me. So I'm not like hosting it. I'm just joining the live show as a viewer, which is fun. Like, I enjoy joining in and listening to other people's comments and everything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna join that, and that's probably gonna be my day. After that, I think I'm just gonna be editing. It's a dreary like Sunday. Next week is spring break, so my kids are gonna be home. Hopefully I'll still be able to get some stuff done, but I filmed a lot of videos so that I had enough to kind of put out for this week. Since the kids are gonna be home, I didn't think I was gonna have time. Hi, Midnight. I didn't think I was gonna have time to film anything, but I have to edit those and schedule them to be posted for next week. And yeah, that's it so far. I will let you know what I think when I finish it, how the live show went, and then I gotta see which one of my books I'm gonna pick up next. It might be Blood Over Brighthaven. I feel like I really want to read that one next, but I don't know, I might go for something cozy to break it up, because this is pretty freaking epic. There's a lot of violence and death and sword fighting, and it's awesome. So anyways, okay, so I just finished Valor. That was like a race. I finished it in time, but barely any time, because it is 2:37 now. The live show starts at 3 my time, so I have 23 minutes. I finished it with 23 minutes to spare. Quite proud of myself for accomplishing that. I did annotate it so that I can refer back to it, because it is like, it's a live show, there's discussion in the chats and stuff like that. What did I think about this book? There's a lot to think about. This is one of those series that when you get to the end of it, you're not like left on a cliffhanger. Like, there's not, the storylines that you're following are basically finished for now. There's like a lull. He stops it at a lull, which I'm very thankful for. A lot of others don't do that. They stop in the middle of like the conflict, and it just drives me nuts. That's why, like, what's her name? Jennifer L. Armentrout, like the from Blood and Ash series. I will not read I read the first 2, and then I put the series down, because I'm like, she stops right in the middle of the conflict, and I'm like, okay, I can't handle these cliffhangers. So I'm waiting until all of the books are out in all of the series before I restart that one. This does not leave you like that. Like, the conflict has ended. Obviously, the plot has continued, the overarching plot has continued, the overarching conflict has continued, but the conflict that you're dealing with at that moment has come to a lull. But like, my heart is still racing, because like, there's a big battle scene at the end of this book. There's battle scenes throughout, but like, you know, the big one, it's important. And I hate people. There are so many characters in this series, and half of them you're like, okay, I know you're a good guy. You're awesome. I love you. And then some of them, you're like, you're the evil person. And then there's like this whole slew of characters in the middle that are like on the fence. Like, could they be evil? Could they be not? There's a couple that I have solidified you're evil. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much I liked you in the beginning. I'm done with you. I am so done with you. Like, so done with you. Like Connell, for example. I'm so done with him. So, yeah. Needless to say, Corbin is accepting that he is the bright star now. Tahereh, pretty sure he figured it out, that he's the black sun. At the end of this, he's pretty sure he figured it out. He's sitting there kind of in shock, like, what the fuck just happened? And I mean, I knew that he was going to be the black sun. Most people know, because you have to think, because he's too ambitious. He was too easy. He accepted his fate too easily. He saw that, his ego would not let him accept anything other than he is the special chosen one. And he clearly had to be the special chosen one from God. Again, because of his ego. He was wrong. He is the chosen one for the dark side, and yeah. But anyways, a great book. Absolutely great book. I'm gonna go watch the live show in a few minutes. The whole family's gonna tune in and watch, because my husband also read the series, so he follows along as well. He did not wait to read it with everyone else. He has finished it already. He binged it. So, and then the kids are just like interested to see what I've been like, binge reading for the past 2 days. But so we're gonna watch it, and then after that I should be responsible and edit. I might read a little bit. It just kind of depends. Like, if my heart is still racing this much after the live show, I'll probably just read and like try and calm myself down for the evening, because like my heart is racing after this. It is racing after the battle scene in this book. It's really, really freaking good. So, but if I decide to read something else, I will check back in and let you know what I'm reading. But until then, okay, there's a lot of noise going on around me, but I wanted to give you a quick update. So, instead of practical magic, I just couldn't do it. I wasn't in the mood. So I decided to read The Alchemist, because it's short and like, it's a famous book. People have been reading it in school for years, and I was like, hey, I've never read it, so let me read it. No, I hate it. I hate it. I hate everything about it. For the writing, it's good, right? It was written well. You can tell that it's a translation, but it was written well. It's very philosophical. It has a lot of good messages and themes and that sort of thing. But it reads like a parable, and that's just not my jam. Like, I was not enjoying this at all. It was only 180 pages, so I got through it pretty quickly, but God, I was miserable the entire time. There's like barely any story. It's basically a parable about chasing your dreams and love and understanding the world around you. Like, it was a mixture of like Christianity, Islam, and like Buddhism, like in the messaging. It's a strange book. It's a strange book. And I wasn't at all a fan. I wasn't a fan. I gave it like a 3-star for the fact that the writing is really good. But if it wasn't for just having respect for the author, it would have been a 1-star. Like, I hated every minute of this. I'm still making my way through just doing my job. I'm about halfway through. I've just been reading like a couple stories a night. I'm a little over halfway through. I've just been reading a couple stories a night, so I'll eventually have this finished by the end of March. But I am now going to be starting Blood Over Brighthaven, so I'm actually really looking forward to this one, and I'm hoping that it will make up for the terrible book that I just read, because it was terrible. The Alchemist was just left a bad taste in my mouth. So I'm going to read this one next. I will let you know how it goes, and I'm assuming that I'm going to enjoy this. It's a magical world at a magical university where, like, it just has a lot of themes that I'm going to enjoy. I'm excited to see how badass of a badass the janitor is. So that's where I'm at. I will catch up in a little bit with you and let you know how this is going. Okay, so last time I checked in with you guys, I had finished The Alchemist, which I think it was the last time I checked in with you guys. If I didn't, I read The Alchemist and it was terrible, but I'm pretty sure that it was. It was before the weekend. Since then, I have gotten the rest of my shelves and I installed them. I actually went to Home Depot and I got all of the trimming and like paint and all of that stuff that I need to make those look more built in. I'm not doing like the full-on Billy hack because of the way my wall structure is and like how they went all the way up to the ceiling. Like I only have like an inch of space from my ceiling, so but I am going to be trimming them out, putting like crown molding in and covering the lines and all of that kind of stuff and then painting them because I hate the white. I absolutely hate the white. They're just the cheapest ones to buy. So anyways, as far as reading went, I actually read a lot this weekend. Like a lot. Super happy about it, to be honest with you. But I read Blood over Brighthaven this is one of the books that was for my book club, one of my local book clubs that I participate in. This book is amazing. Now, based off of the synopsis, I definitely thought that it was going to be something different than what it was. It seemed that there was going to be a lot more magic and it was going to be more fantastical than it was. So the magic in this world is actually very scientific based. So the way that they do their spells is by channeling energy and using basically like a typewriter sort of device to write the spell and then it comes to fruition. So in their world, everything is run off of magic, which is basically energy. So think about energy in the way that we use energy, electricity, fossil fuels, that sort of a thing. Replace that with magic, and that's how their system works. So the main character is a woman. She is the first woman to ever make it to her position, high mage, basically. She wasn't actually supposed to make it. It was kind of just like we let women try, but they never passed. Well, she was actually able to make it in. She is a high mage, which is basically the equivalent of like a research position at a university. So she has that. She's given a project. They want to expand the border of where they are. So they have this city. It is protected from this thing called blight that comes through and destroys people. It just attacks people. It's like this beam of light that just hits you and then you unravel into nothing. So they have this like protective barrier and they want to expand that. So she's put on that project. And obviously she is a woman. They didn't want her to be there. They don't think women belong there. So rather than giving her a proper research assistant, they give her a janitor. And in this world, the people who are outside, who are from outside of the city, outside of the bubble, they are considered less than. They're basically immigrants. And any who make it into the city for asylum and that sort of a thing, they end up working all the low-paying jobs and that sort of a thing. So she's given this assistant. Based off of the synopsis, I thought that the assistant was going to have some super magical ability and that sort of thing. In reality, he's just really smart. He's just really smart, which does make him a badass because obviously like he's breaking the stereotypes that they have about his people being extremely intelligent and well-spoken, and he does help the main character see things from an alternative perspective. But this book is more of a commentary on like a social commentary than it is like a fantasy. So it is based in the fantastical world, but it is definitely a social commentary on, women and their role in society, patriarchy, immigrants, how, social class, racism, all of that kind of stuff. Definitely it's all themed in that. So it's definitely not what I thought it was, but it is extremely good and I highly recommend it. It does give you a perspective not only into what goes on in the world, what goes on in our world as far as, those topics are concerned, but it also allows you to see how some people don't see it. Does that make sense? Like to us, some of the injustices in our world are just so blatantly obvious, and then to others you wonder how they cannot see those. Like, are they blind to it? And this kind of gives you a perspective as to how some people are blind to it. So really good. I highly recommend it. The next book I finished was The Teller of Small Fortunes. This is a Fairy Loot edition. I read the Owl Crate edition because this one's so pretty, but this is just a cozy fantasy. It's a cozy found family story, but it does again also comment on social topics like bias and racism and immigrants not fitting in this country. The main character, she is a Shin, which is basically like the equivalent of like an Asian immigrant to this continent, which is basically think European. and having to fit into that society and not being considered the same and kind of living as an outcast and losing culture to try and fit in and all of that kind of stuff. So it does have a lot of commentary on that subject as well. It's also just cute and cozy. There are some really slow points, but it's really just about these 4 characters coming together and coming to rely on each other and care about each other and help each other. And it's just really sweet. And I enjoyed it. It wasn't the greatest thing I ever read, but I enjoyed it a lot. Then the last thing that I read. So it's still March, so I'm participating in Realm-a-Thon. So for my group, the Monarchs, we are supposed to be reading political fantasies. And there is no greater known political fantasy than the Cruel Prince series. And I never finished it. So I actually read The Wicked King, which is good because, again, I'm reading those books that I never finished. I started this one. I was on page like 80 when I started it this time around, but I had left off on page 80. And what I actually used to do is I would take a bookmark and I would write the date on it, and I would write a mini synopsis of what I've read so far and stick it in the book. That way, when I picked it back up, I had a refresher on what I had already read in case I forgot it or something like that. And then I just kind of knew like when I had left off. Well, when I took the bookmark out of this, it said 2021. It was the beginning of 2021 that I had started this book and put it down. And 4 years later, I have finally finished it. So I'm quite proud of myself. I did like it a lot more than I thought. The beginning of it was extremely slow. It's just kind of the setup. There's a lot of politics. Like, a lot of people think that the series is a romance. It is not. It is definitely a political fantasy with a romance subplot. Everyone loves Carden and Jude. They're like dysfunctional relationship, but it's very much a political fantasy. And the beginning was kind of slow because it's a lot of setup. Again, I struggle with this series because I hate so many people. Like, there's not very many people in this book that you can root for. The writing is a little juvenile, I will admit, but it is a YA series, so like, what do you expect? And then it is written in first person present, and I hate reading in present tense, especially first person. It drives me insane just because it's not commonly used language, let's be honest. Like, when someone is telling you a story, they're not telling you as it's happening, they're telling you after it happened. So it's just not commonly used language when it comes to just conversation. So I don't like present tense very much, but it's okay. I was able to get through it. I've gotten a lot better with reading present tense over the years. So I finished Wicked King, and I really want to read the next one. Now, I know the whole plot of the series. It's been spoiled so many times because it's a really popular series. So I already know what happens, but I still just want to see how they get there. So that is probably, I'm hoping to read the rest of this series. And I mean, just like the first series, not the one with Oak, like the prisoner something, not that one. But I hopefully will read finish Jude and Carden's series this month. And then maybe I'll pick up the Oak one later on. But technically that's an additional series. In my mind, it's still all one series and I need to finish all of the ones that have been out. But technically it's still a different one, kind of like Red Rising is. So I can take a pause a little bit and not feel too guilty about it. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this. So that was what I read over the weekend, which was amazing because I didn't think I was going to read that much. But we kind of had like a boring weekend. Like, I got my shelves, I built them. I went to Home Depot. I went to Costco, I got some groceries. Ooh, I did go to Barnes & Noble and get some books. So hold on, let me show you what those books were. So when I went to Barnes & Noble with the kids and the husband, we went out, we got dinner, and we went to Barnes & Noble. It's just kind of like a little family adventure thing that we do sometimes. We did that on Saturday night. And when we went, there were 2 books that I picked up. There was a couple that I wanted. I wanted to get them because it's like triple stamps, and I love my stamps at Barnes & Noble, but I just didn't have all of the money because I had just spent like a bunch of money getting all the shelves and frames and paint and stuff like that. That was not cheap, by the way. So I just got 2, but I ended up getting Story of My Life, which is by Lucy Score. This is going to be a romance, a contemporary romance. Look at the pretty edges. They're super pretty. So I got that one. It sounds like your average contemporary romance, maybe with a little rom-com aspect to it, but I don't think I've ever read anything, like I've read, what is it? Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, and that was not a rom-com by any means. Like it looks all cutesy and everything, but it's like dark and twisted and like there's kidnapping and torture and like, it's a weird book. I thought it was going to be like a cutesy contemporary. It was not. And then I picked up The Dead Guy Next Door, which I have not finished. I had started that one and it just seemed a little weird and I ended up putting it down. But I picked up this one to see. I'm not sure, again, if it's going to be like a traditional like rom-com contemporary romance or if it's going to be darker or whatever. But it was cute and I like her writing. So I was like, hey, might as well. Then the other one that I picked up was The Harvest of Hearts. Again, cute sprayed edges. So this one is a fantasy romance, or maybe a romantasy, I'm not sure, but it's a fantasy and there is romance, obviously. And it's about heart magic. So you get your magic from hearts, and I guess people are taking hearts. So from the back of the synopsis, like you don't think that it's all that romantic, right? Because it's literally about stealing people's hearts, like physically, like taking their heart out for magic. But I did see in Goodreads under like one of the challenge things that this was like the sweet and spicy section. This was under there and I was like, okay, well maybe I'll get it. So I got it. We'll see how it goes. It is a pretty edition. And yeah, so that's my little book haul. And that's it. That was my week. Not too exciting, I'll be honest with you, but I read a lot. I read a lot. I think I read like 6 books or something. I feel like I read 6 books or something like that. Yeah, which is a lot. So, yay on me. Kind of proud of myself. But that's it for this vlog, guys. Nothing that crazy went on. I did a lot of reading, which is probably why nothing that entertaining went on. But other than that, I guess I will catch you guys next time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. That way you can catch more weird, bookish content from me. But yeah. That's it, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.